and welcome to Pock and Rob. In this video I am going to be continuing my series ranking the tracks of all of the Beatles studio albums. This is part 2 and 1963's With the Beatles. Before I go in and rank the 14 tracks, I would remind you to subscribe if you've not already done so, to click the thumbs up to like the video, the bell to receive notifications of future content, and the share button to share the video with someone who might like it. So let's dive into the 14 tracks. And at number 14, I have placed I Wanna Be Your Man. Now, it kind of hurts me to be putting a Lennon and McCartney original down this low, but I find it dull. I find it boring. The Beatles themselves, I don't think, really rated it. John did actually say, well, we gave it to the Rolling Stones, we weren't going to give them anything good. And that kind of is how I feel about I Wanna Be Your Man. This is sung by Ringo. It's not bad, okay? And nothing, in my view, on With the Beatles is bad. But I do think I Wanna Be Your Man is weak. It's my number 14. At number 13, sticking with another Lennon McCartney original, they were still learning how to write songs that were great. Little Child. It suffers from the same problem, really, as I Wanna Be Your Man. I wouldn't take the needle off or skip the track on a CD, but it's the weakest thing on side 1 of the record. And side 1 is a really banging side, other than perhaps Sitting Through Little Child. Number 12, opening side 2 of the record, and I really like this. So this shows you how much I enjoy the whole of With the Beatles. Roll Over Beethoven. It's just a great, fun rock and roll cover. And I believe it's sung by George. The guitar work on here is absolutely impeccable. And it's a great opener to side 2. I really enjoy listening to Roll Over Beethoven. And number 11, we're still with George, because I have placed his first ever song, Don't Bother Me. He was going to write a lot better. And as it's George, he's going to write a lot worse. Don't Bother Me, it was a strong first song from George. I enjoy listening to it. It's really good. I like Don't Bother Me a whole bunch. Number 11. And number 10, a song that doesn't seem to get a lot of love, and I think I watched a video today where it was kind of placed in somebody's 10 worst Beatle tracks, and it's Not a Second Time. I don't understand why. This is the penultimate track of the record. It's a step up for me from the previous one, which I think is I Wanna Be Your Man. And I like the tune on this. I think it's actually one of John's better and more enjoyable tunes from the early Beatles era. Not a Second Time at number 10. Number 9. Now this gets maligned, and I have seen this as the worst track on the album by several people. Hold Me Tight. Now, it's true that when you listen to it carefully, you hear that it's a bit rushed. But I actually like both of the songs that Paul wrote with this title. So I actually do quite like the track Hold Me Tight on Red Rose Speedway. I think this is a better song than the one on Red Rose Speedway. And look out for this on YouTube. Go and search for it after you've watched this, of course. There was a really good cover of this by the Lemon Twigs. And they show that it's just a good beat pop song. I like Hold Me Tight. Number 8, the cover of Devil in Her Heart, which I think is, again, George. And I think this was a girl group song that they then rejigged the lyrics so it's the devil in her heart rather than his heart. I think it's one of George's best early vocals, and I thoroughly enjoy listening to it. At number 7 is the track that closes side 1 of the record, Please Mr. Postman. This is so much better than the Carpenters version, which was a hit, because Please Mr. Postman, they own this song. And I have heard the original, I've heard covers. I don't think any of them touch the Beatles version of it. There are people who actually think this is a Beatles song rather than a cover, because Please Mr. Postman is just terrific side one closer. And number 6, their cover of Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, You Really Got a Hold on Me. The song itself is terrific. Their version is great, and it's really, really enjoyable. I genuinely do think that the With the Beatles album is better than Please Please Me. And I know there's a lot of people who disagree with me that, but I have a much better time with the Beatles, even the tracks that I put down at the bottom, than I do with the tracks that are on Please Please Me. You Really Got to Hold Me at number 6. At number 5, another maligned track, as Paul is going to turn to songs like this throughout the Beatles' career. This is Till There Was You from The Music Man. I think it's a terrific vocal. I like this as much as I like A Taste of Honey off Please Please Me. In fact, possibly slightly more. There is a really good live version of this that just shows how well Paul sings this on Anthology 1. Till There Was You, it's just a music gem in the middle of this record. It's followed by Little Child, which is a bit of a downstep, but Till There Was You, I've always liked it, even though I know I probably shouldn't. But then I like Paul's granny stuff. And number 4, the track that closes the record and in many ways replicates the phenomenal Twist and Shout performance, it's Money. And yep, it's John doing John's rock and roll voice. Money at number 4. At number 3, we are into the opening 3 tracks of the record for All I Gotta Do, which is track 2. It's a really, really good Lennon and McCartney song. And I love the opening 3 tracks of With the Beatles. And if anything, they're slightly false advertising, because you do think you're going to get this quality throughout, which you certainly do not. But All I Gotta Do, it's lovely harmonies in it, great band performance. At number 2, the opener, It Won't Be Long. Yeah. Great song. And almost rivals I Saw Her Standing There in terms of an arresting opener. And let's face it, they're going to do arresting openers throughout their career, which is interesting when you look at Paul's solo career, how often he doesn't do an arresting opener for his albums. But It Won't Be Long. Great song. And number 1, it's my favourite off the album, and you if you watch previous videos where I've talked about my favourite Beatles track off each album, this is no surprise, it's All My Loving. All My Loving is just phenomenal. The walk down bass, the energy, the fact that this is the song that introduced them to America. This was the first thing that they played on the Ed Sullivan Show, and therefore the first thing that the majority of Americans heard. The strength of this song carries it. As a result, it is the only entry from With the Beatles that was on the original version of 62 to 66, because it is it's phenomenal. Paul, in the early years, we're John dominated. That's well known until around about the Help album. But when Paul wrote something, he swung for the fences and usually hit it on at least one track of each album. And All My Loving is that track for With the Beatles. So that concludes my ranking of the 14 tracks of With the Beatles. I'm sure you'll disagree with me. Please let me know in the comments below. I will be back with another video soon, but until then, I'd remind you to subscribe, like, and hit the bell. Maybe share this with someone else, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.